and blues time in the city, you can pick us up at www.kuaw.org or go to the TuneIn app and search KUAW. Listen to us. We're on 24 hours a day. That's KUAW Radio, Kansas City's global community radio station. And this is what you hear every day from noon till 2. Don't miss the Cheryl Underwood Show.
Where you at, baby?
Sure, I'm at my first alma mater, Clark Atlanta University in Atlanta, Georgia. CAU was the first HBCU in the southern United States. Shout out to our affiliate ATL Talks in Atlanta, Georgia, and everyone getting out there to vote for those 2 Senate seats. We love you.
That's what I'm talking.
You are listening to KUAW Radio, home of the all-new Jamal Bakes Show, and I'm Jamal Bakes, and thank you so very much for listening to the station bringing you talk, news, entertainment that you won't get anywhere else. KUAW, in, of, and about our community.
This is the last weekend before Christmas.
Hey y'all, how y'all doing? This is Lyne't with the Lyne't Gray Show here on Tuesday, January 26th. You will see me wearing my mask today because I do have a guest coming in, and he's not related, so I want to make sure that we are wearing masks and all of that good stuff. Anyway, today is Tuesday, January 26th. Y'all, I'm gonna save it for when he gets here because we have a lot that we want to talk about and everything. My special guest, let me turn the volume down on my phone. I rushed in here, but we have many things to talk about. Let me start with our call letters because I always seem to forget every week. You are listening to the Lyne't Gray Show. I might be turning the name of this show into just Lyne't. I don't know. We'll see, because I mean that's a whole lot to say. But I like saying Lyne't Gray Show because when people mispronounce my first name, I tell them simply my first and last name rhyme. So it might look like Lynette, but it's Lyne't. You're listening to the Lyne't Gray Show on KUAW Radio. Most likely you're listening to or watching the Lyne't Gray Show right now on KUAW. Is it Dash Radio or just KUAW Radio on Facebook? KUAW Dash Radio. Y'all know we changed the name of the Facebook page, KUAW Dash Radio on Facebook. You can also listen by typing in the letters KUAW on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, the TuneIn app, and Periscope. Yeah, I got it, finally. And then one of the questions that my guest today asked me, which I go over this every single week, is if you're interested, if you have a show subject, y'all gonna see me messing with this mask a lot today, so please just don't get irritated. If you have a show subject that you would like to have, or you'd like to have a show on KUAW, we are currently taking show proposals for the station to bring in new shows. So you just write up your idea and email it to kuaw985@gmail.com. You do not have to give a big old long spiel. Just let them know what the platform of your show, what you're going to base your show on. Like a lot of people ask me, Lyne't, what's the platform of your show? And I tell them my show is the Seinfeld of radio. It's just my everyday life. It's a show about nothing, but it's a show about a lot. The telephone number here, we love callers. If you want to call in, 816-599-6893. Our website is kuaw.org. There you will find a donate tab that will link you to PayPal, and it will link you to our ongoing station fundraiser. I want to say, the way you see KUAW now, I don't know if you can go on the page and go back and find the very first Lyne't Gray shows in 2018, and then even the shows in 2019. You will see tremendous upgrades. We are constantly upgrading, thanks to the Black Family Technology Awareness Association as well, because they work in conjunction with KUAW Radio, and they do a lot of our upgrades, and it's amazing. I mean, if you become a part of the family, just to be able to listen to the brilliance that's spoken in the meetings about how to upgrade technology and what cameras to use. It's like, wow, I never knew that. So I mean, it just become and we love our donors. Our donors, you get since it's tax time, remember, all donations are 501c3 deductible, but our donors make it to where we can give you quality programming. And so we are thankful. We are thankful for your donation. When we say of any amount, we literally mean of any amount. You could put a recurring $5 a month. You could put a recurring $1 a month on your PayPal, and it will just come out once a month, and it will come in and be donated to the station where they are excellent stewards of your money. We will have my son, George Fuller, calling in for our legislative. I like to call it our legislative minute, but I got to find a better name for that. And we just also, I got some really good information from a very reliable source on playing music. So because the Lyne't Gray Show, when I was an Uber driver, I drove a person who formats radios and Sirius satellite radio, and also some of the biggest Sirius satellite radio shows. And she told me that she will format my show for me, which she did in it. And me looking at the format, I realized there were some things that needed to be done. So I'm going to be doing them. We have some stuff to talk about, y'all, because like y'all know KC is wilding out. Our cops, the cops, not the police officers. I always tell people there's a difference between a cop and a police officer. A cop does what they want to do. A police officer is sworn to protect and serve, and they uphold their oath to do that. So needless to say, right now they have swarmed a houseless warming center. According to Stacy Shaw, who is an attorney and activist, they have swarmed a warming center. And so when my special guest gets here, we'll make sure that I'll make sure that we bring that up. He is an amazing guest. I love the fact that he literally, y'all, this mask is getting to me. It's hard to do all this talking with this mask on, but I'm gonna do it. I love the fact that he is very to the point, up front, like me. He doesn't bite his tongue, and he brings up real issues. And so a lot of people don't understand that. My special guest will be Dominic McKinney. And he, not only is he a businessman, but he has some of the most amazing videos. He has a Facebook group that I would ask everyone to join, even while you're waiting on him to get here, called First Amendment. You want to join that group because in that group is so much information that you will not find. You will not find just simply browsing Facebook. I promise you that. The information that is in his group is like, people will take it and put it on their page and make it seem like they found it so they can seem brilliant. So I will definitely ask everyone to please join his Facebook group called First Amendment. And my son, George Fuller, should be calling in. George, call in right now. Fuller for the people. He is not just a community activist, but hopefully he will be an actual elected official for the next election that he chooses to run for. He's downstairs. I told him to press the button. Y'all, today has been one of those days, and it's oh, okay. Today has been one of those days for me, so I'm asking everyone to please excuse and forgive me. But today is one of those, like, while I'm waiting, Wild Card Entertainment, Quan's Catering, KWAN''S, Catering, CATERING. Mark, Quan, and Rebecca, they actually hosted one of my shows. I think it was back in September when I came down sick. Their water, y'all, I'm not going to turn it around so y'all can see the name. I don't want anybody seeing the name. I don't want them saying that we're advertising anything. This is the best water I've ever tasted. I have bought water from KUAW's Catering, and when I tell you that you will not find any better tasting water in a store, you know this water is good anytime my sons drink it. And I asked them, I said, what do y'all want me to bring home to drink? And they were like, nothing. I said, y'all don't want no pop? No. Y'all don't want any of that? They were like, no, man, we good. So literally, George, he ran to the door real quick, so you might have to call back. But literally, KUAW's Catering, KWANS Catering. You want to find them on Facebook, Instagram. I think they're on Twitter. Look them up. And I promise you, this is spring water. This is spring water. It's delicious. And they didn't even pay me for that, y'all. I just like to advertise stuff that I spend my money on, and it's wonderfully good. So we have George on the phone. Hey, son, how you doing today?
I'm doing well, feeling a little bit under the weather, but we still making it work.
I know that's right. I know that's right. And when we gonna thank God for your divine health and healing quickly.
Absolutely.
What you got for us this
I
week?
like recovering fast.
I know that's right. Absolutely. Absolutely. What you got for us this week?
All right, so I wanted to just kind of go off locally first and start off with just giving some upcoming events. This upcoming Saturday, January 30th, there's going to be a food distribution over at Unity Temple Southeast. It's going to occur from 12 to 2 p.m. I'm suggesting that people line up early because the last time I was volunteering, the line went all the way back from 3500 East Meyer Boulevard to 71 going eastbound. So you want to make sure you line up early and get a spot in that line.
Okay.
If you need more information, follow Reverend Randy Feeke. And I'm going to bring up his name again in a little bit, but also you can follow the No Excuses Coalition with Brandon Ellington and Charles Johnson. That information is posted there. The next part, I just wanted to kind of reiterate on something we posted last week, and then this week kind of got highlighted again within the media. We talked about some people that I know that are running for candidates in Missouri, Kansas City Public School District school boards, and I wanted to make sure I stated their name again for people to go and check out, and they heard it here first on the Lyne't Gray Show, but also hearing it again, check out Tanisha Ford. She's running at large against Patty Manser, and then check out Candace Buckner running for Sub-District 5 against Mr. Beatty. And I will say this, both of these two candidates are powerhouses. They are looking to be here for the community that they serve, and they're going to be someone that you can look into. I'm not putting out any endorsements yet, but I'm just saying go research for yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And please do, because one of the crazy things about school board was when I ran, I would have been the perfect for the position, but, I quote unquote didn't get enough votes, quote unquote. So, we were stuck in a muck for a little while longer. And one of our actual school board members who literally worked for the children was muted by the board. So she couldn't say anything. She couldn't speak out. They literally muted her. And so that's why you need people who are going to work for the children. And you said it was Tanisha Ford running at large and Candace Buckner, Sub-District 5. Okay, let's go ahead. What else you got for us, son?
Next, there's a brief exclusive interview that dropped earlier today from one of my friends, Cody Cope. He has a podcast called The Cody Cope Show. I've dropped the link to the Spotify. Go check it out. Listen to it. He's also been watching the Lyne't Gray Show here on KUAW.
Thank you, Cody.
He tuned in 2 weeks ago, so I'm excited to kind of be able to put that publication out there. Just gives an in-depth interview about me, just kind of getting to know me a little better. But my true topic of the day is Senate Bill 66.
Go ahead, son. This is crazy. Yeah, go ahead.
That bill basically states that it is going to be eliminate the liability for those that actually run over protesters when they are blocking the street and intersection that may be pertaining in front of a hospital or other municipalities or private areas. So they're reducing the liability of that for injuries as well as allowing the acceptable use of deadly force. And
This is
I'm
crazy.
just completely appalled by that.
I'm appalled.
And I'll say this: I was a protester. I protested, and we blocked the intersection over at 63rd Street on Swope Parkway. We blocked it going southbound, and I can tell you from personal experience watching cars coming up and being almost nearly wanting to hit me, but deciding not to. By God's grace, no one was injured as we did our display. It's just ridiculous for a senator and
a Missouri State Senator, Senator Rick Bratton. Go ahead, son. This is crazy.
Yeah, for them to put out this House Bill 66 from Senator Rick Bratton from Harrisonville, basically saying it's okay for you to hit someone if they're blocking you or causing you an inconvenience by protesting and putting on their demonstration. And that's unacceptable. That is an infringement on our fundamental rights to protest.
Absolutely.
That is an infringement, and that's going to lead to a greater consequence. And that's not just those that were protesting for Black Lives Matter, but that's going to be for anyone that protests from this point forward. So go ahead and contact your senators, because I can tell you this bill was written right after and inspired by the Black Lives Matter.
Yes, it was. So and if you know anything about Harrisonville, yeah, if you know anything, and I'll go any further, I'll go further for you, son. So I'm gonna let you go ahead and let everybody know who you are, and spell out full for the people how to contact you, whatever, and then I'll elaborate so you don't have to. Go ahead.
Say my name is George or Jorge Fuller. I kind of titled this the Dos Minutos with Jorge. This is just giving you a quick 2 minutes into my world and keeping you all abreast and up to date. You can follow me on Jorge Fuller for the People on Instagram as well as Facebook. I stay mainly on the Facebook page, so if you got any interactions there, you can email me at fullerforthepeople@gmail.com. And as once again, we're looking to make sure we put people that are going to represent the people into these elected offices and not represent these corporations and other interest groups that not caring for the people. So hashtag Fuller for the People. Hashtag
Fuller for the People. Jorge Fuller. Say it again, son. Dos Minutos with Jorge.
Dos Minutos with Jorge.
Dos Minutos with Jorge. That is the name of this segment. I thank you, son. And like I said, I am thankful for your divine health and healing. You get better, get some rest, take in some garlic and all that other good stuff. I'll text you what to take. Love you. You have a good one. I'll talk to you next week.
Love you. See you then.
Later. Okay, I'm going to address this before I introduce our guest. No, you know what? I'm going to introduce our guest because this is right up the alley of what he talks about. I have a very special guest here. I am truly, truly excited. We are doing simultaneously running 2 shows at the same time. I have the very special guest, Dominic McKinney L., and he is the host, producer, writer, everything of the First Amendment Let's Talk Tuesday podcast. It comes on Tuesdays immediately after my show from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Central Standard Time. And he comes on, name all the platforms. His is on all platforms, but name your platforms.
I'm on Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook.
And when I tell you all that this is right up the alley, this Senate Bill 66 is right up the alley of what you learn on his show. I was telling the listeners, you might have to turn your sound down so it won't feedback. Okay. But I was telling the listeners before you came that you will get information on your show that you won't, on your podcasts and on your First Amendment group that you won't get other places. That's true. So people will go, if you're looking for, I've been I don't know how long I've been a part of your First Amendment Facebook group. It's been a while. And he posts so much important information, but because it's First Amendment, he lets other people post as well. And that's the amazing thing, because you get to jump on a lot of information that others don't learn for a couple of months. I've seen that before. I was like, where did I see this from before? I said, this is old. And then I went back to your page and saw that someone had posted it months before. It was something that came out real big. I forgot what it was. So we're going to, first start by allowing you to introduce yourself, give your formal introduction, because I butchered it.
Well, good evening, everybody. My name is Dominic McKinney Eel. I am the host producer, the creator. I am the First Amendment Let's Talk Tuesday podcast. It's a virtual podcast. I have been in existence for roughly, it'll be actually a whole year come February 10th.
Awesome.
I have been on there. It was birthed out of anger, I can honestly say. I was angry at what was going on in the world at the time, with the George Floyd and the protesting and the marching and stuff. And it just seemed like every time somebody of a minority or our people would speak up against something, they were censored.
Yes, yes.
You know, and it was always, at the time, they were protesting down on the plaza. And then Mayor Quentin Lucas had instilled a curfew.
Yes, he did.
So you're telling me that I can only protest between 8 and 10, but I got to go back home. But what if I don't get up till 10?
Right, because I'm one of those people who work overnight.
Overnight, right? You know, and I never had the opportunity to go down there because I was constantly working.
Right.
Trying to provide for me and my family. And so I just started going live on my phone. And, you know, I'm the type of person, I believe in the Constitution.
Yes,
and that's where the First Amendment came from. You know, our people and other minorities have fought, bled, and died for us to have these certain rights and privileges.
Absolutely.
And they're not being afforded to us because of our skin color, because of our background, things of those natures. And so I just started going live on my phone, and I was going ham. You couldn't tell me. My very first show was about Gayle King and Kobe Bryant. Right. Yes, because that was disrespectful.
Very
disrespectful what she did, you know. And then I did the show about her and R. Kelly, you know, and just people were just like, dude, you are crazy. Do you know people are going to be mad at you? I was like, I don't care. What are they gonna do? They can't whoop me.
Right. So what you have your First Amendment right.
Right.
Absolutely.
So, and I said the First Amendment allows me to say whatever I want to say.
Absolutely.
You know, and I feel like people should have the option and the right to say what they wanted to say. If you're an American citizen, whether we agree or disagree, you know, you should have the right to say it.
Absolutely.
So I just kept it going. I kept recording. I kept going live, and that was at the time where Facebook was allowing us to add people to the live video, so that wasn't really working out. Signals was bad, so I just started researching platforms and systems that I can use. So Tuesdays came about because it was my only day off.
Okay.
So that was the day I started.
You sound like me. That's how I was wound up with a Tuesday.
Yeah. Tuesday was my only day off, so I just started going with it. It was the First Amendment, and we talking on Tuesday, so I just said, "This is the First Amendment Let's Talk Tuesday podcast," and I just started doing it every week. And literally, for the last year, I've been doing it every week. I have a First Amendment group that I've been having out for about 2 years now, you know, and I love supporting local businesses, podcasts, and you know, the information that people need to have because it's so secluded. And if you don't know where to look, you know, you can't use it. You know, knowledge is power.
Yes, absolutely.
So I created this group, and I started inviting people, and I encourage people, whether I agree with it or not, post it. Let people know. Let them make their own decisions of what to do with this information.
Yes.
And, you know,
and that's what I love about your First Amendment group. But go ahead.
You know, that's what I love about your show, because your show is always so candid. And I'm going to say it on the air. I have not watched a complete whole show.
That's understandable.
But I watch bits and pieces, and enough to know that the work that you're doing and on this show really opens a lot of people's eyes. And I appreciate that just a listener standpoint.
Thank you. I appreciate the work you do as well. You know, when some people are afraid to speak out, it keeps needed information from the masses.
Absolutely.
And so, like I said again, we're going to say again, his group is called on Facebook. It's called First Amendment. But the podcasts that he does are called First Amendment Let's Talk Tuesday podcasts. And they come on between 9. They come on immediately after my show. When my show goes off, y'all should be switching over to his podcast on Tuesday. Like literally, when we go off the air, he's got to rush and do his stuff.
If I'm late, that's because other people are late.
Yeah.
And the one thing I can promise you is you will not be sitting still quiet on my show.
Absolutely.
My show is, I'm a character. I literally say what I want to say, and I don't care what people say about it. I've
I
had
love
guests
it.
on there. I'm proud to say in the month of December, we did 16 shows in the month of December.
That's powerful. And he did 16 shows for Black businesses,
For
y'all.
minority businesses.
Minority businesses. That's powerful. So that's 16 shows that got free publicity because he was being generous for the month of December. That's not saying you're going to get free publicity all the way through. But this was his wanting to give back for the month of December. And so that's one of the reasons why I truly respect what he does, because he is he walk it how he talk it. That's my favorite saying. You got to walk it how you talk it.
Absolutely.
He walks it how he talks it. So let's discuss this. You heard the ending of the Senate Bill 66, that state of Missouri, that allows people to run over protesters and not. It was proposed by Missouri State Senator Rick Bratton.
Right. I heard about it. And that was one of the topics we're going to talk about next month on my show. But I'm glad we start now. I don't know what the format is or how
we take a break. We take a break at 8:30.
But,
and then we come back. But
I will be respectful because this is your show, and
right.
not my show.
Now, say what you want, just don't cuss, because it's FCC, still FCC regulated.
Oh, okay.
So say what you want, just don't cuss.
I just want to let y'all know, in the First Amendment, Let's Talk Tuesday, we drink and we cuss and we have brown liquor. We try to hold it to a minimum, but if y'all put us there, it go down. So, since I have to be a Christian today.
Well, wait a minute, we ain't gonna go that far. Because according to some folks, I'm going to hell and I'm a heathen. So you just got to pretend you saved.
Okay,
put it like that, okay?
Well, I go to 2 churches, so.
Okay.
Before and after.
Oh, well, that's good.
Okay. So here's my theory on this show. I am a conspiracist to the heart.
Me too.
But I also read between the lines.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why that was proposed was for chaos.
Mm-hmm.
That is to build chaos.
Mm-hmm.
What a lot of people don't know is the city has to achieve numbers in certain areas to stay funded by the federal government. And those numbers come from chaos. Those numbers come from the amount of tickets that the police write, the bills that are introduced, basically the way that the public acts. And if they act more in a negative way, the more funding that they can get.
Ooh. Oh, see, I didn't know that.
Yes.
I thought the funding was the other way around.
No, the funding comes from riot gear. See, they want to restore the faith back into the police and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
And the way that because people don't trust the police now.
Right, sure don't.
With so much has been going on in the world, they don't trust the police. That's why they're trying to take away your guns. They're trying to do all these things for us to rely on law enforcement.
Right.
So with this bill, in my opinion, it's introduced to give the police something more to do. Because what person in their right mind would actually do that? We're just going to talk about common sense.
Right.
You're telling me that I have the right to run a protester over.
A human being over.
Right. There's no regard for human life. Now I'm going to speak from the other way around. The people that are protesting are minorities. What is one way to corral minorities? Is to breed chaos. So we're going to react. If you try to run me over, what do you think my natural reaction is going to be?
It's going to be what they saw with the George Floyd protest, where they were pulling people out of cars and beating them. Absolutely.
So that's just another way for them to bring in more police and to get more money and more state agencies. This whole bill was birthed out of when they had all those federal agents down here for that little boy that got killed.
Right. Operation Legend. Yeah.
Operation Legend. This was birthed out of that. And supposedly they had made all these arrests. And what they were doing was they were cleaning up their books.
Yeah, they were. Because they were not even trying to pursue the murderers. They were just coming in and getting everything.
They were trying to clean up their books, a way for them to clean up their books and to get funding.
Right.
So they can call in the state police, so they can call in the National Guard and things like that. And I just think it's a ridiculous bill. I think there's more to the story. And if we give it even a breath of thought, we're falling into what they want us to do. They want us to argue about it. They want us to act the fool about it. In my opinion, just ignore it.
Yeah, call your state senator. Everyone should definitely contact your state senator in your house and make sure you let them know that you do not approve of this bill.
That you do not approve
because
of it.
Even if you don't agree with Black Lives Matter, you might have a child. If let's say you're non-black and you don't agree with Black Lives Matter, but you have a child who this is part of their growing up and their movement and their decisions in life, and they decide that they want to take their non-black self and go protest, you could be getting a visit from the police saying, hey, your child was ran over today, ran over by someone who was angry that the roads were being blocked. Because a lot of times when we see roads blocked, we see white people laying down on the ground.
Absolutely.
And so someone would get that angry to plow over people who are laying down on the ground. It's time for everyone to speak up, email, call, text, lock up the phones to your state Senate and to the Missouri State Senate against, and tell your senator and your House of Representatives to speak out against Missouri Bill 66 proposed by Missouri Senate Bill 66 proposed by Senator Rick Bratland. It's 8:33, so we're going to go ahead and go to break for 2 minutes, and then we'll be back here. This is the Lyne't Gray Show, and we are simultaneously broadcasting with First Amendment Let's Talk Tuesday podcast with Dominic McKinney Ill. We'll see you in 2 minutes.
All right, you're listening to KUAW Radio, Kansas City's global community radio station. We don't only bring you videos on Facebook and YouTube, but listen to our audio only, where you'll get shows like Cheryl Underwood and Blues Time in the City. You can pick us up at www.kuaw.org or go to the TuneIn app and search KUAW. Listen to us. We're on 24 hours a day. That's KUAW Radio, Kansas City's global community radio station. And this is what you hear every day from noon till 2. Don't miss the Cheryl Underwood Show.
Where you at, baby? Sure, I'm at my first alma mater, Clark Atlanta University in Atlanta, Georgia. CAU was the first HBCU in the southern United States. Shout out to our affiliate ATL Talks in Atlanta, Georgia, and everyone getting out there to vote for those 2 Senate seats. We love you.
That's what I'm talking.
You are listening to KUAW Radio, home of the all-new Jamal Bakes Show, and I'm Jamal Bakes, and thank you so very much for listening to the station bringing you talk, news, entertainment that you won't get anywhere else. KUAW in, of, and about our community.
This is the last weekend before Christmas, and on Blues Time in the City, we're wrapping up our All Christmas Blues and Southern Soul program.
Gene Bailey.
We have a very special guest that you will definitely enjoy, and we'll hear from some of the artists that sing the Christmas blues. Join me, Gene Bailey, for Blues Time in the City this weekend before Christmas, right here.
This is comedian Janelle Banks, and you are listening to KUAW, Kansas City.
KUAW listeners, this is Carl Boyd.
A Gray Show, and we have a special guest here today, Dominic McKinney with First Amendment Let's Talk Tuesday podcast. And when we say it's First Amendment, it's First Amendment. He had me cracking up about his shirts. He just had me cracking up about his shirts.
Go tell him about it. It's no
He's
secret.
got shirts that say, I wish a Karen would. And he's got them in every color to match all his sneakers.
If you would like a shirt made, shameless plug, please go to 3MAKC. It's on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. That's my little brother's clothing line. He makes all my shirts. His name is Trey. You tell him Dominic McKinney sent you. Order them. Get your shirt. He does all types of customized shirts. But I have over 12 shirts that says, I wish a Karen would.
And I'm going to have you type that in the comment section to this show on Facebook. I don't know if you have your phone on Facebook, but go to the radio station, go to the show that's airing live, and type his information in. So, because that is a hot selling shirt. I wish a Karen would, because I definitely will be getting one. So this is right up there. Okay, so we have another topic that it was crazy to see. and you'll probably continue this on your show immediately after ours, which is the Trey Songz versus KCBD.
Yes.
Y'all, my heart broke watching that because the way they attacked him, I've seen them go up to white men and just be like, "Hey, you gotta go. You take your, you know."
God.
And these men are being rude and yelling. I've seen this at the Chiefs Stadium where they give the white men or the non-black men, the Mexicans or the Italians, the utmost respect when they remove them. This man, they decide that they gon' maul a millionaire A-list celebrity. Oh, and everybody's yelling. He didn't do nothing. But big ups to Trey. Because when you put our dude in the headlock.
Well, he was holding on for. I'm sitting here watching it, and the first thing I was like, "Come on, Casey, we just done won the AFC," and he had this man in the head. That was a death grip.
That was a death grip, and he couldn't do nothing with. But then I'm able to laugh about it now. But when I first saw it, my heart stopped because we're used to seeing cops reach for a gun, pull out, pow,
right.
pow, pow. You get what I'm saying? But he couldn't do that. Why could he not do that? He was at the Chiefs Stadium during the AFC game.
Well, there's a reason behind that. And again, I hate to be a conspiracy, but, you know, my show, I tell the truth.
Yeah, tell it. Talk.
The reason why we are approached like that as minorities with such aggression is because of those numbers, again, that I was telling you
that they
about.
have to get the funding.
Statistically, what they do is they run studies in minority neighborhoods and about how the crime is affected.
Okay.
And let's just say, we'll say down in the 30s, anywhere from 31st and Linwood down to 45th and Linwood.
Okay.
They know statistically that the crime rate is going to be a certain minority. And they know that automatically is a certain mindset. So they're automatically trained to go in a certain type of way. Instead of what their oath says about community support and trying to de-escalate, they automatically go in with a certain mindset that, you know, it's going to be bad and stuff like that. And that's where the disconnect comes in. You know, Trey Songz, if you watch the video, and I've seen it from all angles, man wasn't doing nothing.
He wasn't doing nothing. Yeah.
And it wasn't even him. And here's the part that made me laugh, and I'm going to make you laugh tonight. They charged him with trespass.
And he had a ticket. That, you know what? I'm sorry. I was like, how do you get charged with trespassing and you had legal permission? Because you bought an expensive ticket to be. That's his. I'm not gonna cuss.
I'm gonna put on my mask, right? Because this stops me from cussing, right? So I did the research. Do you know how much he paid for that ticket?
I know it's probably at least $4,000 or $5,000.
That man paid $2,700 for that ticket. He bought 3 tickets.
To be told he was trespassing.
To be told
and tackled by the cops.
You are at the biggest game.
In
the Kansas City AFC Championship is bigger than the Super Bowl.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
It's bigger than the Super Bowl.
It's Lamar Hunt's thing.
And his grandson, just going to accept his trophy.
Right.
And you tell an A-list celebrity.
A-list, y'all. Trey Songz.
We're talking about, Mr. Steal Your Girl. Because if he's still mine, he can have her. Because I can't compete with that,
Mr. Steal Your Girl.
Mr. Steal Your Girl. And everybody is in the crowd. And this is where police training comes in and de-escalations. Sometimes you got to stop being a cop, like you said.
Thank you.
And I heard that coming in. Yes. I was listening to the show because I wanted to make sure I actually heard the beginning of the show like I was instructed to. Right? Well, it's a whole nother story, y'all. But I heard the beginning of the show, the email, how to come on, all of that, right? But there was no de-escalation tactics.
There was none.
You got to stop being a cop and be a police officer.
Absolutely.
You got to sometimes take a step back. Look, everybody's not going to be lying.
Thank you. And video and people. You got video and people. Now, everybody telling my grandma used to say, everybody ain't going to tell the same lie.
Right. Like they had a secret meeting and had handshakes and
they
stuff.
didn't edit videos to make it look like the cop was in the wrong. You get what I'm saying? Come on now. That whole situation, but I'm glad you because this goes back to something I always say. And I'm glad you brought up the fact that they are trained to trigger they have to know the mindset of the people of the group of people they're dealing with, because they're trained to trigger a certain group of people.
Absolutely.
So they can get that funding. Because that goes back to me always saying, Black people, we need to own our own mind.
Yes.
I had an encounter with a police officer in my when I got out of my truck Monday. Was it Monday? I don't know my days. I work overnight, so I don't know my days. But I got out of my truck and he walks up to me and he's being aggressive. And I'm being just as polite and nice, and he's still trying to be aggressive, and he's still trying to pull that. And he knows it's in there. Cops have what they call discernment. He knows it's in there, but he kept trying to pull it out. And then he said something to me that should have pulled it out. But because I own my own mind, I recognize that he was just trying to pull something out of me that he didn't get. And I told him, I looked him dead in his face. I said, if you're done, you don't get this energy. This ain't for you. You ain't my ex-husband who owed me some money. And I turned around and walked in the building. And he looked at me and he just, you go on about your business and leave me alone. I already answered all your questions while you keep trying to make me stand here and help me. And like I told him, you don't get this energy. But had that have been, and I will say that had that have been Lyne't of 2017 and before, he would have caught all hell. Y'all would have seen me all over the ground getting tased, beating this cop up, doing all the takedown tactics my mama taught me, because she used to be a police officer. So we have to own our own minds. It is a must. Because we don't own our own minds. You just heard Dominic McKinney tell us from First Amendment Let's Talk Tuesday podcast that they are counting on you not owning your own mind so they can get funding for the city by creating chaotic situations.
So I'm going to bring everybody's attention to Dick Gregory. If you don't know who Dick Gregory is, your black card needs to be pulled.
Sure does.
I'm just going to be honest with you. That man is, in my opinion, more known than some of our previous
Greatest
Malcolm
leaders.
X, Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
He tells the truth with no shame. And he is I can honestly say, one of my models where I base my show off of.
Yeah.
So he had a statement that he said, we do not live in a community.
You're right.
He said we live in hoods, neighborhoods. He said because a community controls and owns everything in it.
Right.
From their dollar to their businesses to the police. That's a community. They work together. Right. We live in neighborhoods.
Right.
And he said until we start controlling and owning our own stuff, then we're still going to be in a neighborhood.
Absolutely. And one thing I will say is this, I always tell people, don't sell your grandparents' properties. Because what happens is, and I'm gonna give y'all, I used to say this all the time and I got away from doing it, but I'm going to give y'all the formula to gentrification. How do you know they're about to gentrify the neighborhood? You start seeing white drug addicts and prostitutes walking up and down the street. If you have lived in your community, tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying. If you have lived in your community all your life, then next thing you know, you see Ryan and you see Susie, who used to be Karen with a little bit of money, living out there in Leawood, and now she got strung out on meth, crack, or whatever, and she walking up and down your street. She started out real cute, but about 3-4 months from now, she looking like she did meth every day for the entire time. That's how you know they're getting ready to gentrify your
give
area.
you one better than that.
What?
When you start seeing Habib on the chicken stand and they ain't even got chickens in their country.
Absolutely.
There are more liquor stores, and I did the research. In Kansas City, Kansas, and Kansas City, Missouri, right, there are over 3,000 liquor stores.
And that's crazy.
There's over 3,000 liquor stores. Check this out. Guess how many are owned by minorities of our own people?
I think it's only 2. Because I know one is
less than 0.1%.
Yeah, because it's only 2 of them.
Right. That is out of Kansas City, Kansas, and Kansas City, Missouri. We're talking about Wyandotte and Jackson County.
Wow.
Right? There's over 3,000 liquor stores, but less than 0.1% are owned outright by our people. Did you know Dwayne E. Harvey doesn't even own his funeral home?
Oh, you know, Lawrence A. Jones, they sold Lawrence A. Jones.
They sold it too.
Own it. Burbelia owns, y'all go by that Arthur Bryan thinking y'all supporting a black family, Burbilia, the Italian liquor store.
Yep,
That
owns
has,
Arthur Bryant's.
They won't even put a liquor store in the inner city because their liquor stores are too nice.
They're too nice
to put in our inner city, but they own Arthur Bryant's. And so, like you said, we don't own anything. It blew me away to find out they sold Lawrence A. Jones.
Yeah,
And
I've been
Dwayne
on
E.
this.
Harvey. I didn't know that, and I was like, man, I would like to find Leandrew and ask him what's going on with that. You know, you build up, but black people, the first thing we want to do is sell what our parents build. You know, they work so hard to build something. They work so hard to and what happens is when you sell it, the people who buy it from you, they don't care. And that's where it comes in handy of us building a community. How do you build a community? Number one, what George said, the school board. Because one thing, my daughter's boyfriend came up to Kansas City and we were driving him around Kansas City. He's from Florida. And you know what he said to me? He said, where are all y'all schools? He was like, y'all don't have no schools. Where are the schools? He said, well, no wonder Kansas City's murder rate will never change.
It'll never change.
Because of the schools. There are no schools. And then you got all of these elementary charter schools, but what high schools do you have to feed them into? So then that's where we start with how you tear down the neighborhood is with the, like you said, the liquor stores. The schools are not good. You have a hand pick of schools that are good and they're at capacity and have years long worth of waiting lists.
Do you know that there are 85% liquor stores next to churches? 85% of the liquor stores in both cities are next to churches.
And so I'm trying to figure out what are our churches doing to prevent this?
Well, here's how I see it. And this is the reason why I'm so strong on the First Amendment and speaking your mind. Mm-hmm. Because us as a people, we talk about things at the barbershop, mm-hmm. at Walmart, mm-hmm. and we talk about it at church, mm-hmm. but nobody is talking about it in the right places.
Right.
We need to be these politicians, we need to be at their houses on a Tuesday night.
Yeah.
Talking about why should I have your vote? See, everybody got mad at Ice Cube for what he did, and I totally understood what he did.
I understood it too. Yeah.
He went to go talk to the other side and said, "So what are you going to do for the black vote?"
Right.
What are you going to do?
Because we've been going through it for how long?
Because naturally,
Nixon won off the black vote.
Right. The black vote has been grandfathered in to be Democrats.
Yep. And Nixon won off of it using James Brown. That's where the big payback came from. Because he did James Brown dirty when he didn't give him what he wanted, which was Martin Luther King month, and he didn't give it to him.
And so we have to make sure as a people that my grandmother used to say, reach one, teach one, you teach one, you reach one. Mm-hmm. We have to make sure that we are instilling those values, those core values that our grandparents mm-hmm. built upon.
Yes.
We have to instill in these youth.
Yes.
Yes, it's going to be the hardest thing in the world to do, mm-hmm. but we have to instill it in the youth. We have to make sure that they understand the legacy in which that you're coming from.
And you know what? Here's my thing, and it's not really hard because I tell people it was a beautiful thing for me growing up because like I said, I was a little kid and all my friends were born in the 1800s and the early 1900s. I was blessed to have a mother who just walked away, so my great-grandmother took me in. And I tell people, how do you teach young people legacy? You make them sit back like kids. What they say, kids are to be seen and not heard. But you openly talk about how hard y'all work and the things y'all done to be successful. And what needs to be done for the children.
And you make them a part of it.
And they get to hear.
Right.
And then, because I tell people the activist Lyne't that everybody sees was bred right there with J.D. Johnson, with some of your people who, I can't name them all, up and down Vine Street, who own businesses on Vine, not just 18th and Vine, but all the way up to 27th and Vine.
Absolutely.
And so as a child, I was able to sit there and listen to them and listen about how they had this and were buying this and own this and keep this out the hands of the white man. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. We got to make sure that the young people know how to do this, that, and the other. It's not hard, but it's for us to take up the conversation. Another thing we have to do is, like you said, not only in the politicians' kitchens, but Nixon promised James Brown something that he never gave him in his kitchen of the White House. But what we have to do is we have to form political, I always say this, super PACs. They proved it when they pulled money for all of them senators who supported that coup at the Capitol, all of a sudden now we see where the money's coming from that's buying all these laws. We as black people need to form several super PACs, as many as everybody else has, one for each agenda. You don't form a super PAC and then try to put all your agenda into it.
Right.
We have enough money that we can form one super PAC for each agenda, fund that super PAC, and pay a lobbyist to go in and buy. I always say,
now I will always say this too. Please, our people, black folk, when you get in these positions of authority or have a business, you want us to patronize you.
Yes.
But give us that same courtesy and respect that you give the white man.
Absolutely.
And I'm gonna tell you, here's my example. I work from home. I like the comfort of working from home. There's a lot of people that have started food services. You know, and I don't mind ordering food.
Right.
I don't mind it. I'll pay your charge because I understand the hustle and the grind. But when you get my food to me, please be on time. I'd like it hot. Like, you know, you need to explain to me, why should I spend my money with you? Because I want to buy black.
We want to buy black. And here's one thing I will always say. There are 2 restaurants on 18th and Vine, and one, a very successful man who could have been bringing his clients to that restaurant, was told that because he was not a former councilman, the owner of the restaurant told all of the waiters and waitresses to make sure the councilman and all the people that he bought in were comfortable. So this person waited for hours for his order to be taken. Then he waited almost another hour and a half, 2 hours for his food. And this person said, I'll never go back. And this is a black man who can bring in umpteen black people, umpteen black and white wealthy people into Kansas City, and would have used that as his location, who now said no. Then I personally experienced a restaurant that does like a lot of poetry hostings on 18th and Vine. And I went and ordered my food. My food got to me, it was cold. And then I had to wait on my fork or my spoon or whatever. And it took for the head chef to come out and check on me, start talking to me. And I was like, yeah, and this, that, and the other. He went back, refixed my food, and had to bring me silverware. And another one of the poets who performed had waited on her water from the time she sat down. But I paid $46 that night in food and drinks.
I'm going to tell you the length that I go to support black people. I got a good friend of mine named Alex Stewart. He's on my page right now. Every Wednesday, he does barbecue. He sells ribs, chicken, and stuff. I've had his food before. Right now, you got to come pick it up because he sells out fast. I will hit Alex up Tuesday. Hey, I don't get off of work till 9, 10 o'clock at night. I have driven from Grandview, Missouri, over there to 78th and State
to get your food.
To go get my barbecue. Because it's just that good.
Yes.
This is how I support my people.
Yes, and I tell people I do that with Big Dames Eat, Quan's Catering, Cafe Joel. When people have really, Jamar's Catering, when people have really good food and really good service, y'all see me all the time promote positive energy gear. I was going to wear one of my shirts today, but it was too cold outside. But when they give you high quality service and excellent food, the first thing you want to do is fully support and keep going back. But unfortunately, we need to stop this, black people, feeling like everybody we're entitled.
We're entitled.
Everybody. My sister, my cousin, my little cousin, she has a boutique called Mo Bless Boutique. People might look at the clothes and be like, "Ah, it's all right." I ordered a T-shirt from her. I said, "I'm gonna just order a T-shirt and see what it's like," because I'm real finicky about how my clothes feel. I used to be rich. So
you used to be rich.
I used to be rich. I used to be young.
I'm still rich.
I used to be young, black, and rich. Now I'm wealthy. There's a difference. Now I'm wealthy. But I ordered her shirt from Mo Bless Boutique, and when I tell y'all, I was like, "Oh my God, high quality, positively packaged. Thank yous. No excuses on why your order didn't come." You get what I'm saying? Like you said, this is what we need to do. We're coming to a close, and we got to get out of here because he got to start his show.
No, my show was cool.
Okay.
This is my show right now.
Okay.
This is my show right now. Y'all not getting no show till next week because I'm on the Lyne't. I've been trying to get on this show for a year and a half. I have posted every one of her shows in my group.
Yes, he has.
You know,
And I will say here on air, you are welcome. When I put this welcome out, please take it seriously. You are welcome to come back to the Lyne't Gray Show anytime you feel like. Just let me know in advance. But I want everyone to understand what he's saying. Now, this is the one thing, if y'all don't take nothing else from this show, black people, they gonna get you to act a fool.
They gonna get you to act a fool.
Because they get money if you act a fool. Y'all need to pull it together. Get your own mind. Control your own mind. We have to get out of here because the Lyne't Gray Show ends at 9. This is the Lyne't Gray Show here with Dominic McKinney L. For the First Amendment Let's Talk podcast. We were doing a simultaneous airing of the two shows. That's the first for KUAW.org, and hopefully we will do it again.
Absolutely.
And I thank you so much. And the time goes by so fast. Now I see why my guests be like, time went by too fast. You need to get another hour. I'm like, but I got to go home and get some sleep.
Just real quickly, I thank everybody for tuning in. Check me out. I have a fan page called The First Amendment Let's Talk Tuesday.
Shout out your first lady.
Yeah, yes, my first lady. Everybody who supports my show.
Yes.
Nikita, everybody, Alex Stewart. Please check out Yamika Boutiques, the Cypher Trucking Organization Club, Etchy Sauces, my church, Timothy Baptist Church. Please check out my fan page. I got a lot of activities coming up this year. If you want the correct spelling, it's the number 1 ST, the word amendment, Let's Talk Tuesday podcast. You can find me on YouTube at Dominic McKinney. Yeah, it's all posted in the links and everything here. Please support my show. My next event coming up, I'm doing Random Acts of Kindness, where I'm supposed to do a podcast show. I'm giving away money.
Yes, and he does.
In the month of March, I'm doing a contest where I'm going to take 10 boys and go get them their haircuts.
Awesome.
We got a lot of stuff going on. Just check out all my media, support the page and stuff. And I'm going to put Miss Lyne't Gray on the air. She's going to help me get a show over here on K1 Radio as well, too. I'm just saying.
I already talked to Mr. Walker. So you know what to do now.
I know what to do. I watched the beginning of the show. I promise you I did.
So this is the Lyne't Gray Show, simultaneously broadcasting with First Amendment Let's Talk Tuesday podcast with Dominic McKinney L. And we thank you for joining in. We will see you on the Lyne't Gray Show here on KUAW.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, you're listening to KUAW Radio, Kansas City's global community radio station. We don't only bring you videos on Facebook and YouTube, but listen to our audio only, where you'll get shows like Cheryl Underwood and Blues Time in the City. You can pick us up at www.kuaw.org or go to the TuneIn app and search KUAW. Listen to us. We're on 24 hours a day. That's KUAW Radio, Kansas City's global community radio station. And this is what you hear every day from noon till 2. Don't miss the Cheryl Underwood Show.
Education, credit black.